Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. In today's video, I'm going to review one of my personal favourite cars in the entirety of GT7 itself. Of course, I'm talking about the Alfa 155 DTM. A car which has become synonymous with the Gran Turismo series itself. So let's start off with the price point of this car. It is currently available in the Legends car dealer for 800,000 credits. As you can see, it is classified as a Group 4 race car with a PP rating of 659.18, a displacement of 2,498cc due to its regulations at the time, four-wheel drive, 413 brake horsepower, weighing only 1,010 kilograms, and is naturally aspirated with a screaming V6 engine capable of revving at 12,000 RPM. So with this being a race car, it does lack modifications. However, there is the likes of wheel changes if you want to go ahead and create custom liveries and of course some of those racing replicas. There is a few bumper options, but it does seem to be only just sponsorship stickers. Apart from that, there is nothing else you can do to this car, but as mentioned, it's an incredible base car for some amazing custom liveries. Now this car will typically run incredibly well at the likes of 700pp events, of course made for Group 4 race cars. It's absolutely a standout in every single one of these. However, the most fun you can find with this is actually through the brand new DTM special event, which sometimes goes on rotation, where you can have some period correct racing in absolutely the best way possible. The Alfa 155 absolutely gleaming on every single one of these events. Of course, out of all the race cars that you'll see in the special event, the Alfa 155 is the only official classic DTM racer of the lot. However, it does make for some incredible sights and sounds with an entirely packed grid of 19 DTM classic machines. So let's talk about the Alfa 155 DTM and exactly what the car is, how it performed in its real-world motorsport history, and of course we'll touch on it in Gran Turismo 7 as well. So of course, the monster that you are seeing here is based upon the Alfa Romeo 155. This was produced by, of course, Alfa Romeo from 1992 until 1998. At the end of its run, almost 200,000 of these things were produced. In 1995, it received a fairly substantial facelift, and of course, enhancements were made almost every single year during its production run. However, what makes the 155 truly special is the fact that almost instantly upon its release, Alfa Romeo got to designing this thing into an absolute monstrous race car. Now, there were two versions when it comes to the super touring vehicle that you're seeing here, one for Class 1 regs and I believe one for Class 2 regs. Those were, of course, the DTM or V6 Ti DTM that you're seeing here, and of course the Class 2, which was the super touring regulated Alfa Romeo GTA. Now, of course, the version that you are seeing here is the one that ran in DTM. This ran from 1993 until 1996 when it was withdrawn, of course, due to the high cost of Class 1 touring car racing. However, during its very short lifespan overall, it was an incredibly successful car, and straight out of the gate in 1993, it would go on to win the Drivers' Championship. In the end, it would end up with a series record 11 wins from one driver during the season. That was Larini, who finished up with 261 points, way ahead from everyone else, and that's exactly the car that you're seeing here. However, during its lifespan, it would end up with a new sponsor from 1995 onwards, which was of course the other legendary livery that you'll see for this car quite regularly, which was the Martini sponsored cars. Come the end of its time in DTM, it would end up with a total of 38 wins across the seasons from 1993 until 1996, cementing itself as an absolutely legendary touring car racer. Of course, with real-world motorsport success, a lot of these cars do end up being implemented in racing games across the board, and I would say the 155 DTM is probably most notable for the Gran Turismo series, where you will see this car a lot across a bunch of the series releases. Now you may be thinking that this car first appeared in Gran Turismo 2, and you would be kind of right but also kind of wrong. In fact, the one that we see in GT2 is the 155 road car with racing modifications, and in fact resembles the BTCC race car of the time running a DTM livery. Of course, the real world counterpart would appear from Gran Turismo 4 onwards and cement itself as a staple of the series. When it comes to my first personal memory of the Alfa 155, this would be in Gran Turismo 2, in which you would leave your game idle, a replay would play of the Alfa 155 and the Opel Calibra touring car battling it out in Rome. From then onwards, the 155 and the Opel Calibra became pretty much cemented in my mind as Gran Turismo staples and have become absolute icons of the series. And unfortunately, when it comes to Gran Turismo 7, the only survivor of the two is the 155, with the Opel Calibra yet to show its face. Hopefully sooner rather than later though it does, especially with the DTM special events, of course, now implemented in GT7. However, when it comes to the 155 and Gran Turismo 7, it hasn't just become a, garage queen of the past. In fact, this is very much one of the best Group 4 cars in the entirety of GT7, if not the best. When it comes to GT7, this car already has a fairly varied story. In fact, it was one of the first legendary cars to release in the Hagerty dealership, and a lot of people went ahead and purchased it. Its price has always remained at 800,000 credits, and I remember very early on that when it came to sport mode, this car was absolutely everywhere, as it was pretty much the standout of the class. Four-wheel drive, incredible handling, incredible speed and insane acceleration made this an absolute firm fan favourite. And of course, whilst across time and multiple updates the car has been nerfed, I guess slightly, it still remains as a lot of people's go-to Group 4 car. So yes, whilst the car may be over 30 years old at this point, it's definitely showing no signs of slowing down when it comes to being a massively usable race car in both single player and sport mode. This is an incredible machine that really has to be driven to be believed just how incredible this thing is when it's all put together. One of the standouts for me when it comes to this car is its insane top speed for a Group 4 race car. This thing will blast you upwards of 190 miles per hour without any upgrades on it. It's incredibly fast, and of course with that four-wheel drive system, it's incredibly easy to drive. Almost anyone can jump in this thing and do incredibly well. Not only is that testament just to how well this thing was built by Alfa Romeo to tackle those DTM class regulations, it also shows just how incredibly insane those Class 1 regs were at the time that DTM were producing the likes of the 155 DTM. It's insane that after 30 years, these cars are incredibly fast, incredibly strong, and the fact that these vehicles are running four-wheel drive, as well as a top speed of 190 miles per hour, is just insane. One of the charms of this vehicles for me has to be the looks. Just like a lot of the DTM cars of the time, it was almost like get the biggest box shape you can and strap some incredible aero to it and basically turn it into a missile that can rocket itself around almost any track in the world. For me, it's a design philosophy that made all of these kind of vehicles of the time so iconic. A big boxy shape, a ton of aero, and enough speed to suck your face off is absolutely incredible and has to be seen to be believed. If you just want to get some proper look into what this real world car is like, then just go ahead on YouTube and search it up. Trust me, the sight, the sound, the performance is absolutely breathtaking even 30 years on. In the end, the 155 DTM isn't just a legendary DTM car or a legend of motorsport itself, it's also a video game icon. Especially when it comes to the Gran Turismo series, this thing is perfect. And just to show off its performance, this is what it looks like on our overall lap time leaderboard. Of course, all of these cars are standard straight out of their dealership, whether that's Brand Central, Used Car, Legendary, and as you can see, the 155 DTM sits in 4th place overall, beating the likes of the Roof RGT, Lamborghini Gallardo, Impreza Rally Car, 430 Scuderia, and more. This thing is an absolute timeless classic. So in the end, this is a must buy for any Gran Turismo 7 player. Let me know what you think of the 155 DTM. A huge thank you to all of my channel members and a huge thank you to you guys watching at home. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Take care guys. Peace.